led you to real estate kind of being the next thing for you?
After graduating from college, my wife and I bought a house out in Bluffton, and we lived in it for a year. And when we bought it, I had kind of the what I would say would be like a person's stereotypical bad real estate experience. I don't want to disparage other industries, but the used car salesman sort of thing.
Sure.
It just wasn't a great experience. When we sold that house in Bluffton, we used this realtor named Larry Smith, and he was great. He's like uber introverted, didn't say much, but when he did say it, it meant something. And long story short, he is what piqued my interest in it. I felt like he really treated us well, treated us like people, rather than a transaction.
Yeah.
And which has come to be a big part of my philosophy. So yeah, 2002, we're down here, and I'm like, you know what? I should get my real estate license, and I did. And the plan was to start dabbling in real estate as I was still climbing the corporate ladder at Ashland. And anyone that's tried that knows it doesn't work. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
If you want to be good at real estate, you got to be all in my opinion. And I shouldn't say even be good. If you want to treat your clients like they deserve to be treated, you need to be all in. So yeah, I tried that for a while, and it didn't work. And then I just kind of let my license lapse at that point. Went through a bunch of other jobs, and then I decided, like, hey, I need to do this real estate thing. It had been on my mind at that time for 8 years, where I've been telling myself, dang it, why'd you let that lapse? There was this opportunity. And in 2010, I was working for, I won't say the name of the company, but it was the worst job I've ever had. And on July 27th, 2010, I walked in, and I don't advise that anyone does this, but at this point I was like, I don't care about burning bridges, and told my manager, I basically told him to F off, and I'm done. And he goes, you're not even going to finish today? I'm like, hell no, I'm out of here. I'm done. And about a week later, I found out, I did some research, found out I wouldn't have to take my real estate classes again. I was still within that time period. And I was like, screw it. I scheduled the test, and I went and took the test, and I passed. And I'm like, all right, full-time realtor now. So that's how that happened. And what's precipitated that is, through all of my experiences, I've learned, like I said before, I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm a good worker, but I'm a lousy employee. And I just figured that out at some point, and I was like, I need to do something that's for me and me only.
Yeah.
And I think my philosophy and my thoughts on how real estate should be done, evolved from that point. And the basic tenet there is, like I said before, our clients deserve to be treated with the utmost respect, and I would even say love, from us.
Let me ask you this, because you mentioned, being part-time isn't necessarily, like, you can still be good and be part-time, but in order to give your client that experience, right, you kind of have to be full-time. What was one of the struggles during that period? Because look, a lot of people get into this business, they're transitioning from another career, right? This isn't typically someone's first career choice, right? It's kind of the experience that you went through, right? Like, I did, this career, and then there was usually a breaking point or something. Like, when I help agents get into the business, they want more money. They need more freedom. They want more flexibility within the schedule, right? It's something else going on in life or in their current career that they're just not happy. I think there are some industries where it's easier to transition or to do both, right? If that other career has a lot of flexibility involved in it. But what was it for you to where you're like, hey, this isn't going to work because I know I'm not providing X to my client? Was it just time? Was it just the commitment?
Time and just, I'm trying to choose my words a little bit judiciously because I don't want to badmouth any former employers, but just the typical corporate environment can be, it was for me, very soul sucking. I was, at that time, I was working in this, I'd go into this giant office with fluorescent lights and cubicles as far as you could see. And give your all. Like, I've always thought you should give your all to whatever you're into. And then you get done at the end of the day and you're just like, ugh. And I didn't have the energy to invest in the real estate.
Sure.
At that point. So that's what it was for me, is just and the company was going through some stuff at that time where, there was a Friday one time where we went in and there was 2,100 people came to work and 700 left that morning without a job. They're like, see ya.
Yeah.
And like, that wears on a person. And I finally got to a point where I've wanted to do this real estate thing. It's been in the back of my mind. I need to just do it. And there was, this allure of all the money. Everybody hears that, and I did too. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I see these people, sipping pina coladas by the pool and writing contracts, and it was that time in real estate, right? And then I get my license full time in 2010, and it's like, boom. And a lot of people said, man, you picked the worst time to get into real estate. And in retrospect, I think it was a really good time. I went 6 months without an income before I got my first closing, and I worked my rear end off to get going. And like, some of the people that had been in it for a long time and were coasting, I probably took some of their business. And it's funny though. I think about it. My first year, I did 16 transactions.
That's great. And it said your first 6 months, nothing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that, right?
I had some help from someone.
My
brokerage was set up at that time to be a HUD listing brokerage.
Yeah.
So we had listings, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, I did 16 closings, and I think my 1099 at the end of the year said $22,000. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.